2915 636 695 2915. Also, you can join us on Facebook, of course, 100.7 The Viper. You can share the show there as well, and, of course, have some fun as well. All right, we'll take your calls. We'll do that. We've also got several things to talk about today. 9/11 tributes and controversy from the weekend. More violence going on. Some kids punk Joe Biden yesterday in Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
That was hilarious.
And where's COVID on this Monday and anything else from the weekend? All right, as we get started, Tabitha, you were gone for the weekend, I guess, you said you were going to the cabin with your girlfriends.
Yes.
How did that go?
We had such a good time.
Did everybody come out unscathed?
We did.
You look worse than I do.
Well, I have had a rough weekend.
I know you have, and I'm going to get into that.
Yeah, the girls and I, we had a really good time. We went out to the cabin. We found this place called the Iron Mule. And none of us, even the owners, have any idea what an Iron Mule is.
That sounds like a drink.
But here's what's the craziest part is, Vic. Out in the middle of Iron County, which is Trump country, we come across 4 guys who are liberal Democrats that own this restaurant called the Iron Mule. And
so why every place you go to starts with the word iron?
Iron. It's all about the iron. But these guys were so nice. They treated us very well.
And they were liberals?
And they were liberal Democrats.
What kind of liberals were they?
Nice guys.
Oh,
nice
yeah.
guys. They treated us very well. We had a really good time. And it goes to show that, you know what, you can sit down and talk about
Did they
politics.
have their wives or girlfriends with them?
No, they were just 4 guys there. Well, they're owners. They were working.
Oh, okay.
You know, they were all married.
How nice were they, Tabitha?
They were very nice. They're very nice. But it was interesting to be able to sit down and talk to people
because if they have
about
their
differing
wives,
opinions.
Okay, 4 women in Ironton, and if they're married and their wives aren't there, and oh my God, I can only
wasn't
imagine the
anything
kind
like
of trouble.
that. They weren't hitting on us.
Okay.
They're very professional.
Okay, that's good.
They were all married. They were all working. They're the owners.
All right,
and
that's
it's
cool.
a great little restaurant.
So what was the point? You guys
My point is that you can sit down and talk to people who have very opposing opinions and still get along, still have a good time, and still understand they are good people regardless of the fact of maybe we don't always agree.
Well said. Absolutely well said. Chris, what about your weekend?
You know, I just kind of hung out. It was a nice weekend. Just doing my thing. I'm actually getting taxes ready because if you get the extension, Wednesday's tax day.
Mm-hmm.
So
you had the extension.
I did.
And then that's on Wednesday.
Yep.
All right, Eric Johnson will
How about
be
you?
here. I had my son's football game Friday night. Those are belly twisters and turners. I can't relax for hours until the game's over. Just did that Saturday. What did we do Saturday? What did I do Saturday? Oh, I hosted I was by myself a lot the weekend, but then I had the St. Joseph Cottleville Dinner Paris auction. No mask. We've talked about St. Joseph before. But I do events all over the place, and I've done them for 23 years. But this is the wildest, craziest group of people when it comes to just trying to have a good time. And when I say wild and crazy, just everybody likes loud. And it's one of those things where coming out of COVID, it was the first, there haven't been a lot of dinner auctions going on over the past year and a half. There just haven't.
No, not at all.
They're starting to come back. And you could just tell and sense and feel that people were excited to get out. The school raised a lot of money, which they needed to, and that's a fantastic thing, being the largest parish in the state. So did that, and then my other son's football game was yesterday. Work out, watch football.
Busy weekend.
Nothing over the top exciting. From the Facebook line, somebody said they worked all weekend. That can be a frustrating thing. We get that as well. Okay. So yesterday, the president, first of all, gosh, we've also got, do we want to talk about Biden really quick, or do we want to talk about 9/11 stuff from the weekend?
Up to you.
I really don't want to talk about Sleepy Joe.
Wait a minute. Joe Biden. This is funny, though. And I encourage people, go to foxnews.com and you can see the picture. He was in Shanksville, Pennsylvania yesterday. Mm-hmm. There's a picture of President Joe Biden with kids, like kids laughing, smiling, big guy, with Make America Great hats on and Trump hats on. They're literally wearing the hats. And it doesn't look like the photo was doctored in any way. They're literally standing next to the president taking pictures with Trump hats on.
Does he even realize
I
it?
don't know. I don't think so. He's got a big old smile on his face.
You know,
That's what I was wondering.
My wife wanted me to watch a video. Maybe you guys seen it. I don't know. It was something about Joe Biden this weekend. I guess he was going to do an appearance somewhere, and his very first thing he comes upon is a kid, and he runs right towards the kid and gives the kid a hug. Did you guys see?
I did not see that.
Okay. She just says he's a creep.
A lot of people feel that he's creepy.
a creep.
I mean, a lot of his things he's done seem creepy. I'm not saying he's a pedophile, but some of the things he's done seem creepy.
I just can't believe it was just okay. I don't know. I'm trying to. Do you would Trump be taking pictures with kids wearing Biden stuff?
I don't
No.
know.
And is it bad that he took a picture with kids wearing Trump gear?
It makes one think, because when I saw the photo, I thought, what is he thinking? Does he know does he not see the hats they're wearing and the shirt the little boy's
Maybe
wearing?
he's just a really nice guy.
Where is his PR team? Or maybe he thought it was funny. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's the other thing. It's just the whole thing. You're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. Biden's in the middle. He's got his sunglasses on. He's got his mask pulled down below his chin.
So much for masking.
None of the kids are wearing masks. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 of the kids of the 8 that are with them, I guarantee, are 12 and under.
Yes.
Anyway, you got to.
Why is he surrounding himself with kids?
No, they just come up. No, it's not him coming up and doing. I'm sure kids go up and want to take a picture. I guarantee the parents were there. They all think it's funny as hell. I mean, the kids look like they just got away with something. I'm not kidding.
But where's Biden's PR team that stands there and catches that sort of thing?
Right.
Oh my God, dressed in some Trump gear. I just can't get over it.
And how could he miss those 2 hats? That's a red and a blue hat. How could you miss that? It's not photoshopped.
No. There's one red hat with white lettering that says Trump.
Right. Right.
The blue one. Then there's a blue hat on another girl that says "Make America Great Again," and it has 45
Right.
on this side.
That's what I'm saying. No one could have missed that. He had to have known what he was posing for.
Even Biden supports
Yeah, I see
Trump
that
Yeah,
from
no
the
kidding.
2024.
from
Josh
the Facebook
says.
line. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I got to stay away from comments this morning right now. Guys, we can't do that right now. I'm sorry. The former President Trump came out. He had a lot of comments over the weekend. Quote, the U.S. looks like a bunch of fools right now.
Yes.
We look like we surrendered.
Yes.
He also came out and said, I guarantee that China and Russia already have our Apache helicopters, and they're taking them apart to find out exactly how they're made.
Yes. Yes on everything.
Trump's also made some comments, I think as of Friday, Saturday, hinting that he's running again.
Of course he is.
I didn't think you would.
I didn't think
Tabitha
so
and I are in the
either.
camp
And I
that
don't think
says
that
no.
he should.
I did.
I don't think he should.
And I agree with Tabitha. I don't
do.
think he should
I think
either.
it's too polarizing. I think that we would get further with him as a behind-the-scenes mentor. He could be the puppet master.
Might start out that way, but doesn't mean he's going to run as president.
True.
He could run in for Nancy Pelosi's seat.
And that would be
Okay,
fine.
no, what
but
I meant was the presidency. I was talking about he's giving a lot of clues as to him running for president,
I hope he
not
chooses
for
not
something
to do that.
else.
Well, it might start out that way, but it might not end that way.
You mean he could
What?
say he's going to run for president
Right.
and then change his mind and go a different
Yep.
route?
Did you talk to him?
Give him a call, Chris.
I
Get him
can't-
on the line.
I can't discuss that.
Get him on the line.
Did you call him today? That's funny. Another major issue right out of the gate this morning. Don't know if you guys saw this.
Patrick Mahomes?
Chiefs won. They came back. Congrats, your Chiefs won, Chris. We can't. You know what? We can't get out of that. The Chiefs did. They should have lost. Cleveland gave them a couple gifts in the second half, and
Sure
they turned
did.
it. That's what great teams do. Congratulations to the Chiefs. Cardinals just one game back of the second wild card because nobody wants to win that division. I mean, it's shocking to me. You got team. I think the Cardinals might be 4 games over 500.
And this
Four,
is
maybe
where
5.
the Cardinals can
And
burn you.
Exactly.
This is where they can burn you. You just let them in and they can burn you.
Or at least this year's team.
Yes.
They're one game out. I don't know, with a handful of games left through the end of September.
It's unbelievable.
They're one game out. They start a series in New York tonight, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Some video that frustrated, or story that's frustrated a lot of people. But I guess when I first heard about this, the gentleman that told me about it, I guess, was not surprised. But there was video, and we did a story on this, of a student, literally a student, picking up flags at Washington University's campus. These were American flags put out to honor the 9/11 victims. The student newspaper said the person in the video was Fidel Alcanali, and he serves as chairman of the Student Senate Finance Committee at the school.
Let's go get him.
Fidel Alcanali. Well, Washington University Republicans asked for some sort of action to be taken because they placed nearly 3,000 flags at Mudd Field to commemorate 9/11. Guess what? The school actually came out and said, you know what? It was wrong.
But are they going to do anything about it?
That's what we're getting to. The school said they're very, 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 very disappointed, but as of yet, no disciplinary measures have been taken.
Then are they really that disappointed?
My guess is nothing will be done to this Fidel Alcalani, who picked up, just went out there and started putting them in a paper bag or a plastic bag.
I saw, when I read that, it made me sick. I'm like, what in the world? And then did you read his message, the comment he finally made?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
He says that he was critiquing the military interventions and Islamophobia that followed the attacks of 9/11.
Yeah, and he talked about something about, well, you cannot give out this message if you don't give the complete message. Something about the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan.
He says it amplifies pro-imperialist sentiment and actively disrespects those who have died because of American invasions.
He needs his butt kicked.
Washington University said, we're disappointed to learn about the disruption of the 9/11 display. We condemn any interference with the expression of support of the college Republicans for the victims of the tragedy that took place 20 years ago. So we value freedom of expression in all forms and will work to ensure that all students are able to express their points of view through appropriate channels without disrupting the rights of others in order for support causes that they care about. Now, will the school do anything?
No.
And if they do, does that send a bad message?
No, because the people who
WashU is
nobody cares.
WashU is part of the fabric of the St. Louis area community.
Yeah, they are. They're part of the liberal fabric of the St. Louis area community. They're not going to do anything.
What would you want to see be done?
No one cares.
What would you want to see be done,
I would never
Tabitha?
promote violence. I was kidding when I said go kick his butt. We don't want to do that.
But here's the problem. If I put those flags out and I saw Fidel Alcalani out taking up American flags at WashU,
I got a problem with it.
Yeah,
I'm probably going
absolutely.
out. I am and I'm grabbing the flags out of his hands.
Yes.
And there may be a brawl.
And no one did that.
And that's the problem that you have.
And no one did that. And someone should
And
have.
Fidel and his friends wouldn't be able to stop me and my friends. I promise you that.
I agree with you
And
1,000
so
times
that's
over.
the problem that you have. If you don't do something, this is what can lead to violence and bad
Well,
situations.
in Washington University, they need to set an example, and they need to say, you know what, your rights do not tramp over this person's rights. These people had the right to put their flags out to commemorate 9/11. It is not your right to go out and remove those flags.
I know. I'm just trying to think of any other group, if there was like a pro-Islamic day and the flags were picked up.
What do you think would happen if that were the case?
Or if it were the Democrats of the WashU putting out pro-Biden flags or Kamala Harris flags or you name it flags, whatever it may be.
They would be condemned. They would be expelled.
Who would be?
The conservative would be condemned and expelled if they removed pro flags for the other group.
Would it have been another hate crime? Because we saw Larry Elder,
It
the
probably
Republican
would have been a
nominee for
hate crime.
Republican governor. He faced a hate crime last week, according to the Los Angeles county sheriff deputy, or the county sheriff said that he faced a hate crime. This was a black man getting a hate crime by white people. And, nothing's happened, by the way. They still haven't found any charges.
Nothing's going to
But that
happen.
was a hate crime. Would this have been a hate crime had it been the other way around?
If it were the other way
important because
around,
it happened in St. Louis, it happened to WashU. And they know exactly who the man is.
and they're going to do nothing.
And nothing is, well, we give him a shot. We'll We'll reach out. I'll reach out and ask them today.
I hope you do.
In regards to
Because
seeing if anything happens for tomorrow.
Someone needs to be accountable. There were other reports, and I don't know if you guys
People should remember, too, if WashU doesn't do anything, you always have the right to go protest
right?
WashU and everything about WashU.
And
you
that's
can
how
go
you
do
fight
that
back.
and do the best that you can. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, it's, once again, depending upon whatever you're studying. I mean, it's a great, great, great educational school. We know that. And it's part of the community, but you always have an opportunity to go and do whatever you want to try to fight back.
It's just another indoctrination camp. Did you hear the other story that there were other individuals removing flags from overpasses after the memorial as well?
What?
Well,
what
there were.
memorial?
I don't know which overpass. I read it on Facebook. Somebody said that people had put up American flags on various overpasses across the city to commemorate 9/11. And that
So
there
this
were
was
also,
over the weekend.
Over the weekend, there were also groups of people out removing those flags from overpasses as well. And I don't think I read anything on Fox 2 about that, but people I know on Facebook were talking about it.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes what we get on Facebook is true. Sometimes it's not.
Sure.
I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know if there's laws. I don't know how long flags are allowed to stay up. I
think it's just
I just don't have any information
people
on it.
who are intolerant. It's the intolerant left. They think that the American flag is somehow racist, which is really upsetting to me. And I will say the 4 liberals I met in Ironton this weekend, all veterans. They all love the American flag. They don't necessarily agree with us, but they are definitely still Americans. What happened to those Democrats?
Well, I don't know about the flags. We got a lot to talk to about. We'll continue to talk about this WashU story as well. When we come back from break, Eric's in house now. Scott Rosenblum joins us at 8:30. We'll talk about where the court systems are. If you have any questions when it comes to the criminal side of things or the cases, get them in now. Let us know. We'll ask Scott when it comes to that. We've also got the issues that we've been talking about going on from WashU. Biden being pranked by kids in a photo, which is just unbelievable. And where we are right now from our economy standpoint. We're going to get into it all, plus much more. Plus, we'll take your calls and questions, 636-695-2915. I'm curious how Eric's weekend went with PLR. They had a weekend off, and then they came back. PR, what did I say?
Use the BLR.
Oh, he'll be back. He's here. He's wearing his Blues hat. We'll talk to him right after this. You're listening to The Edge. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Big Faust of Fox 2. Back with more right after this.
Edge Morning Traffic.
A frustrating drive this morning for 370 eastbound drivers. Roadwork has been causing a jam since the 6 o'clock hour. Slowdowns start at Newtown Boulevard and continue until you get just west of North 5th Street. Also, a big slowdown for Highway 94 drivers heading southbound approaching 370. 94 slow from Highway B all the way to where it connects with 370. I-70, 64, and the Page Avenue Extension drivers all flowing nicely this morning in St. Charles County. A jam Highway 40 both directions from Clayton Road over to McCausland. 270 northbound slows from I-44 up through 6440. I'm Fox 2's Molly Rose, and that's your Edge Traffic.
Hi, this is Kate. You're listening to the Edge Morning Show.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Contractors Flooring Supply is your Mohawk Revwood Select dealer. This is water-resistant wood flooring without compromise. In stock with free underlay at just $287 a square foot. Contractors Flooring Supply has solid, rigid core, waterproof plank stock. They carry a huge inventory for the do-it-yourselfer, or Contractors Flooring Supply will do the installation for you. Always free estimates at Contractors Flooring Supply, next to the new Rural King, Warrenton.
I said chantilly lace and eggshell, not matte.
Colby's interior design consultancy is floored with new clients.
Wait, what am I looking at here? This looks like plaid.
They need an admin with an eye for design and a knack for numbers.
Okay, hey, Luke, take a look at this. Do those numbers look right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Screen for quality candidates with the skills your role needs with Indeed assessments. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You will solve the great mystery.
Streaming only on Peacock.
This is Robert Langdon. The suspect called him.
I teach symbology. He wants me to locate an ancient portal buried within the Capitol.
From the author of Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
It's your dad. The people who took him want me to find a piece of a very old puzzle.
And executive producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
We have to finish this or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
Hi, this is Curtis Marks. I'm the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair. Now that things are back open, the vaccines are out, we are ready to get back to work. The kids are home, and I'm sure you're ready to go back to work too. We are hiring all positions. We are looking for everyone and anyone that wants to make life better for themselves, and we want you now. CompleteAB.com is where you apply. CompleteAB.com. Join the complete experience. No more sitting at home. Let's get back to work. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Hi, this is Eric Joya, sales manager at the all-new Travers Automotive and RV at I-70 and TR Hughes. I'm personally inviting you to come see our awesome selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Travers Automotive and RV has the largest inventory of lifted trucks and Jeep Wranglers in the market. Our new location also has RVs from Mesa Ridge and Open Range, and a huge selection of pre-owned as well. Come see me and my team at Travers Automotive and RV, I-70 at TR Hughes, TraversAutoandRV.com.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey guys, welcome back to our show. You're listening to The Edge with Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. If you want to give us a call, you can. The phone number is 636-695-2915. We're on Facebook. You know that, 100.7 The Viper. Share the show. You can also catch us on ViperRocks.com. Take us wherever you go. Listen to us wherever you are, as we have people that listen pretty much all around the world and the country for that matter. All right. You can also get us on YouTube at The Morning Edge. Eric.
Hi.
PRL was back this weekend. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How you doing, Darn?
I'm all right. Just hanging in there. Hanging there. We were hearing about Tabitha's Ironton experience this weekend.
Yeah.
How was yours? You were in Alton and you were at Brewski's.
Yeah, good. Nobody cares about COVID. I'll get past that real fast. Everybody's out having a good time. Good weekend of shows.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Watch a little NFL football with 60,000 people in the stadiums. Nobody cares about COVID. It was a good weekend.
Nobody wearing masks, yet the kids are still being forced to wear masks in high schools. And
are you? Yeah. Did you get a chance to
after
ask
every weekend? It still frustrates the hell out of me.
Did you get a chance to ask the Catholic Church about the mask thing at all?
No, we didn't bring that. I thought about cracking a joke in my opening statement, something to the effect of, "Hey, where's everybody's mask?"
Oh, that would have been good.
But the fact that I had to go sit next to Sister when I sat down at the table.
She scared you, didn't she?
Well, no, I was. Well, she didn't scare me, and God knows, being a man of my faith, my Catholic faith, I would have sat down knowing that, okay, we're going to have to put up with some of this stuff because that woman wouldn't say anything anyway. But here I am by myself sitting with 4 awesome teaching sisters at the school, and then 3 of the priest, and then me. So it's like if I crack one of those mask
it would have been
jokes,
good.
And then I sit back down, and it was already a wild, crazy, let's just say having a great time type of group. You know, people just want to get out, enjoy themselves, getting back to a dinner auction. So, no, I did not say anything
Catholics,
about
first of
St.
all.
Joseph Cottleville and the mask at the school, where my kid goes, by the way.
Catholics know how to party. They know how to party hard, and they should. That's good for them. I went to a fair one time. It was a Catholic fair, like a fish fry kind of a deal. And I've never seen so many drunks in my entire life. And I guess they're like, you know what? They're going to have all kinds of alcohol in heaven. So we're just going to party until we can't party no more.
So you guys didn't miss a beat with the concerts? A week off help recharge the battery?
No, but I do. If you guys on Facebook can help me out, because I can't, or you can call in. There was a shooting at the Alton Amphitheater. That is literally
while you were there?
While we were playing. While we were on stage, it was about
shootings are following you.
I know.
Yeah, that's twice now.
This is 3 times, I believe. Yeah. If anybody knows about this, here's what I heard, Vic, and I can verify this. At the Alton Amphitheater, there's a fair that goes on and we play there. I saw probably in a rush 30 cop cars. I mean, it looked like they had their own light show going on over there in that corner. And they were chasing someone. Someone comes up to the side of the stage and says, I don't know if you guys want to stop or not, but there's a shooting that's happening right over there. We just kept going. We just kept playing through the damn thing. And on top of it, I heard also that a cop got stabbed. But I haven't seen any reports on the damn thing at all.
I've not heard anything about it.
News, not on our website.
Is
not
it
Fox 2 from the weekend?
And I'm just wondering, are we so desensitized by these stories that they're just not even important anymore?
No, they would be important.
I would think that would be important.
I'm going to call the Alton police on break and find out what happened.
I think that's a good idea because I haven't heard anything about it.
Because they're going to tell you, right, Eric?
Well, it's a public record, right? I mean, I don't know. How does that stuff work, Vic? Does the newsroom can get that information if they wanted it, right?
Well, yeah, if it legitimately happened and if it was reported. Backstreet Boys attract the wrong crowd.
I just saw that.
You're the Backstreet Boys?
No, that was during the White Snake set.
Alton is a pretty rough area.
Is it really?
Days. Parts of Alton are pretty rough.
It's haunted and rough?
Yeah, there are some parts.
There's a lot of crime in certain areas of Alton.
Well, 52 minutes ago, Fox 2 Now says shootings lead to police standoff at
in Arnold, yeah.
Arnold home.
Yeah, a guy apparently shot. Well, there's crime everywhere.
Yes.
Right. One of our listeners, Drew Collins, messages me all the time whenever there's a shooting anywhere to remind me that it's not just in St. Louis City. So, Drew, if you're listening, there you go. All right. As I remind Drew, yes, it can happen everywhere, but it's not the same situations all the time, unfortunately, that we have seen in the city. We're getting ready to talk with Scott Rosenblum, one of the best criminal defense attorneys around, about kind of where we are in their court systems right now. But I can tell you this much. When it comes to the shootings and the crime that we're seeing, that one in Arnold, what's concerning is he held 2 women hostage. The women know each other, and one of them was shot. Then they heard more gunshots as they arrived. So we'll continue to follow that and see,
the crime
and see where that's going.
A domestic situation?
We don't know.
When you hear the word COVID from this point forward, this is a fascinating. If you want your kid to die, take them to Chicago. There are now more kids dying of gunshot wounds in Chicago, Illinois, than anywhere in the country of COVID-19.
Kids largely are not dying from COVID.
They do not die. But if you want them to maybe die on a Saturday night, take your kids up to Chicago for the weekend.
But we saw a lot of things change during COVID, including the law process and things that happened and in court situations and getting people in and getting people out. And to talk more about that, we talk with our expert and our friend, Scott Rosenblum of Rosenblum, Schwartz, and Fry. Scott, good morning. Thanks for taking some time to talk to us this morning. Do you have a busy day or busy week ahead?
Pretty busy week. I'm starting a trial downtown.
Oh, can you tell us what kind of trial it is?
It's a triple homicide.
Dun, dun. Wow.
Oh, man. What goes into a triple homicide case? My God.
A lot of guns.
A lot.
So you're the defense. How do you defend something like that?
I am the defense, yeah.
Because his clients are guiltier. I mean, they're not guilty.
Oh, my God.
Tabitha.
Scott, she just misspoke, I hope.
I did. Because, Scott, one time I also misspoke on accident, and I was going to make sure I didn't do it this time. And then I did it anyway. I meant they're not guilty, Eric.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Case
oh, my
dismissed.
God.
Scott's going to murder me.
Hey, Scott, what is the situation looking like right now in the court systems? Because we've talked to you for the last year and a half in regards to what you've seen and basically how law cases came to a halt. Are things getting back, and what's that like? Especially for your clients.
I mean, I've been trying cases since March. I tried, obviously, defending the police officer. I tried it the first time in March March 15th, and he was acquitted of the main count and then hung on the next. And we did it again a month later, and he got hung on the second count again. So hopefully that's over.
That was the Luther Hall case, correct?
Correct. But, it's sort of interesting. The first case, March 15th, it was in federal court, and Judge Perry had a lot of COVID protocols in effect. And we had, special instructions to tell the jury that the lawyers may not have a mask on at all times, but they've all been vaccinated. And the jurors all wore masks, and everybody in the courtroom wore masks, and there was social distancing. So we went through that, it's very difficult to try cases with masks. And then my next case after that, about 2 or 3 weeks after, was in Wayne County. Hadn't tried a case in Wayne County before. That's Waynesville. So I was defending sort of a well-known guy in town, a pretty nasty case. It came out well, but it was had some publicity, so they brought in 100 jurors, and we had to go through jury selection in the community center because the courtroom wasn't big enough. So there's 100 folks in there, and before we start, there's a young judge, and I go back and what we were reusing as chambers, and I said, well, here's what we did in federal court 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't know how you feel about masks or the lawyers talking or talking without masks. In that case, the judge wanted to make sure that the jurors knew that the lawyers were vaccinated. She looked at me like I had two heads. She said, if I were you, counsel, I wouldn't mention that out here.
What? Wow.
Oh, my God.
So long story short, they piled in 100 people. This is back in end of March. Piled in 100 people, no masks, no social distancing. We had 12 jurors in the box, no mask. We had families in the courtroom stacked up, no mask. That's in the red part of the state.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it? How hard is it? Because you want body language and facial language. Is that a dynamic that is now, if your client isn't sitting there in a courtroom all day with a face mask on anymore, right? I guess maybe in St. Louis you would be, but it doesn't, that screws with the dynamic of the journey looking at the defendant all day long. Is that right?
Well, yeah, there have been some. I object to it. I certainly object to it. I mean, you have a person accused of a crime. The last thing you want them to look like is like a robber or a bandit, right? That's not a good look. And then as far as the witnesses, the jury instructions specifically tell jurors that they are to determine the credibility of the witnesses. And one of the things they are to do is look at the countenance and demeanor of the witness and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know how they can follow the jury instructions if the witness has a mask on. So typically, if you make an objection to that, the judge will allow the witness to remove the mask. Not all, and I think that if there's convictions in those cases, that may be grounds for a pretty significant appeal.
Gosh, it is crazy. We're talking with defense attorney Scott Rosenblum. Tabitha?
Yeah, Scott, obviously, like I was trying to say before, all of your clients are innocent until proven guilty. And you've had a lot of people, I believe, who are presumed obviously innocent, sitting in jail for lengthy times because their cases aren't being heard because of COVID. What happens when these people are potentially innocent, they're not proven guilty, and then they've spent the last year and a half sitting in jail?
Yeah, well, it's difficult, and it's difficult to, sort of explain to the clients what's happening. A lot of them, at times they were talking about filing a speedy trial. Now, speedy trial motions have more bite when there's actually, when they're incarcerated, but the problem was because of the pandemic, the speedy trial guidelines were set aside temporarily. So, yeah, they were just stuck. I mean, it's horrible. You try to get them a bond or whatever, but on the more serious cases, they're not going to get a bond. So they're just literally stuck.
That's a tough situation because literally, I mean, you could have somebody who truly is innocent sitting in jail for a year or more, 2 years, maybe 3 years, depending on how long they end up sitting there. That's awful.
It is terrible. We're talking with Scott Rosenblum of Rosenblum, Schwartz, and Fry. If you have any questions as well, feel free to let us know. I know the last time we had Scott on, we had to get off. We had people who were writing in questions. Feel free to do so on 100.7 The Vipers Facebook page. Of course, we can. That's probably the best way to do that. Scott, we heard it. It's been quiet recently, but there was a lot being said in regards to issues within the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office for certain individuals, getting a chance to go free because cases weren't heard because attorneys weren't showing up. These are situations that you deal with sometimes. Can you give us any insight, experience as to what you're seeing in St. Louis right now with attorneys showing up or not showing up for cases?
Well, I mean, it's sort of been a mess down there. So there's just been a huge turnover, and there's a bunch of young attorneys, and the management has been awful. I mean, I'm not saying anything that has been publicized. I think that the powers that be have shown themselves not to be very effective managers in a number of ways. So that they have almost virtually no experienced attorneys down there because nobody wants to be in that situation. Nobody wants to wake up one day and say, okay, I'm on pregnancy leave and I have 30 homicide cases assigned to me that I know nothing about. And judges are screaming at me. Who wants to live like that?
Nobody wants to live like that. Exactly right. I have a question. I was watching, I don't know if you can comment on this or not, but Washington University, and I didn't even know it was Washington. I don't know if you followed this case, but there's a guy that was at Washington University picking up American flags off of the campus, and this woke culture is just getting out of hand. Is there any recourse? What happens to? I mean, is this a crime of some sort, or who handles this? Is this the administration down at WashU, or can someone file suit for? And it's not, I guess it's not a hate crime or anything.
Well,
like
are you
that.
familiar with the case, Scott? Because I know you've been wrapped up in what you're doing.
It's just a disgusting.
No, I'm really not.
Well,
What's
what
going
happened
on?
just over the weekend? What you had was a group. I guess it was the college Republicans at Washington University. They were allowed to put up 3,000 flags on Mud Field. Well, then one person took them down, saying that they didn't want the flags to be shown. No, that's fine. They didn't want the flags to be shown. Washington U came out and said this person who removed the flags was wrong, but no disciplinary action has been taken as of now.
And it's the optics of it.
So what were you asking? Were you asking if it's a case?
I was like, what kind of case do you have? Or if a Palestinian group goes and puts flags up all over the place, and a Catholic group comes and takes all the flags down, they would be bitching about hate crimes all over the place. But what kind of recourse do people have against this kind of thing? Just because it's just optically, it's ugly, and it feels like something needs to be done about it.
Well, the optics are bad, but I guess it depends on what they did with the flags. I mean,
They threw them away.
Would be
They trashed
them. Then potentially that could be charged with desecrating the American flag.
I did not know that.
The only thing we were told, Eric, from that standpoint, Scott, was that the gentleman, the Fidel Al-Khalani, who went and picked up the flags, he put them in plastic bags. So that's all the evidence that we have at this point in time. So,
yeah, it would be, it's the same as burning a flag. I mean, in most, if you go to even in a lot of the, I guess, rural areas, if you go into some of the old courthouses, they all have, it looks like a mail thing, like a mail where you put mail, but it's funny because it's not for the mail. It's a slot where there's a place to dispose of in an appropriate fashion any American flag.
Damn, Scott, I appreciate you educating me. I had no idea.
Exactly.
What a great insight.
Yeah, you just can't toss them. I mean, it's potentially a crime.
Hey, Scott, I'm curious in this day, are you keeping as busy as ever? Do you have you've got a major triple homicide case coming up this week in the city. Anything else coming down the pipeline as well?
I am so busy, I don't know what to do with myself. I just turned 54 years old, and I thought I was going to be slowing down just a little bit. But, yeah, COVID's crushed me. I'm in trial. I mean, I have nothing but trials. I start a month-long trial in Columbia, Missouri on a homicide case. I was supposed to be teaching up at Harvard this week, actually. I was asked to teach at Harvard in the criminal law section, or their criminal law courses, I suppose. But I was too busy, and then COVID changed everything the way that was going to happen, so I took a pass. And then, I got tons of cases, more than I need.
Hey, Scott, what's going to happen to some of your clients that were released because of COVID? Are they going to have to go back to jail? Will they be able to remain free until their trial takes place?
Well, they haven't done anything yet, so I guess that's potentially, sure, if there's no existing threat for those individuals anymore, that they would be subject to returning, I suppose.
Before you get out of here today, Scott, I wanted to ask you this because I hear so many people talk about going into law. You know, as my daughter started as a freshman in college, it was one thing that she even started to say, Dad, well, you know, maybe I may be thinking about this. Everybody sees and hears about a Scott Rosenblum and, you know, the successes that you have in a court. What kind of advice do you give? Because I think you said you also taught some classes or spoke at SLU, which seems to be turning out a ton of top-notch attorneys. What advice do you have for people maybe thinking about getting into certain types of law, things of that nature, and what you're seeing from younger lawyers coming up?
Well, I still think the legal profession is one of the most honorable professions you can be called to. And then within the profession, I think what I do, which is in the criminal defense arena, is the most honorable, where you can check the government from overreaching and protect people potentially wrongfully or rightfully accused. But in the end, going through that process protects everybody. So I'm always proud of what I do, and I always recommend it. But you have to have the passion. So whatever you choose, if it's the law, and then within a sub-area of law, if you're not passionate about it, then it's work. And I haven't had to go to work in 38 years. I still don't go to work. I love what I do. So it's find your passion. That's the only thing I can say. Don't do it. I mean, if you're one of these people that, you know, graduate undergrad and have nothing to do or can't figure out what to do and say, okay, well, now I'm going to go to law school just to buy some more time, that's typically not going to work out. So it's like in your career, Vic, it's any career, you need to have passion. Otherwise, it's work. Otherwise, it's, you know, and then it's just horrible. You just go to work every day.
Do you feel like the younger generation understands the work ethic it takes? Because once again, people see the top of the iceberg. They don't see what's underneath.
You got about a half hour I can unload on it. Yeah, I can't stand the advertising aspect of it. Everything in the younger generation is a shortcut, so social media and actually advertising. I've never advertised in my life. I think the old school way is still the best. You go out there and you distinguish yourself by doing well and trying cases. You get recommendations from jurors, from other lawyers, from judges, and eventually it grows. It takes longer. You know, I've had some I had lucky breaks with some high-profile cases early on. Sure, that helps, but all this fast track is, to me, one of the worst things going on in the legal profession for a couple of reasons. A, they're not qualified to get the cases that they're getting by advertising, and B, it takes away any mentorship. Most good lawyers can always point to somebody that had mentored them, not only in the ways of the practice. I can't really give you your skill set. Your skill set is what it is, but they can mentor you in how you deal with judges and how you deal with clerks and how you deal with clients and how you actually behave like a professional, like a lawyer. We don't see that anymore.
Gosh, it's interesting. That's why I love the perspective.
It's like the Jungle Law billboards down 70. You ever see those guys? That guy.
Yeah. I try to avoid him.
He looks like Tarzan, kind of.
If you ever see me on a billboard advertising my wares, I'll be retired. Either that or I'll be my cousin at Bernie's, where somebody in the office puts a picture of me. I'm not even living anymore, and they just have me up there as a face.
If you and Al Watkins had a podcast together, I would listen to it every single day.
I've told well, no, you know what? Scott's respectful. I don't know. Scott would never get a word in. Okay.
No, that's true.
Scott would just have a drink and go, okay, Al.
Yeah, he would have to be a
yeah, one of us likes to actually practice law.
Oh, quote of the day.
No, I've told Scott this before. Scott's a friend, and we've known each other for years. And I was, you should at some point if he had time, but Scott's too busy, you know, doing his job.
Yeah.
Making money and helping people that he believes are actually innocent. So, Scott, we appreciate you taking so much time with us this morning. I thought it's funny. One of our listeners said that their dog could hear your dog barking.
And they started barking together. And once they start,
outstanding.
They never stop.
As it should be.
And and you've met my dog. It's Walter. It's a beautiful Rottweiler.
Walter is one of the best beautiful dogs that you will ever find. That is for sure.
Yeah,
the biggest people person you could ever imagine. Scott, we're grateful for your time. Thanks for taking some time to join us today. We wish you the best luck on this case this week. And keep in contact in regards to cases coming up, and maybe we'll see you around, okay? All right, Scott Rosenblum, we appreciate him taking some time with us this morning. It is interesting when you see somebody, whether you like or agree with the profession of a criminal defense attorney, because everybody needs one.
Oh, yeah.
When you're in that situation.
Absolutely.
The work ethic that goes into anything. And that's the message that I was listening to him give. Because so often it's all about a shortcut. Life has become all about a shortcut. Shortcut this, shortcut that, not paying the price and it'll show. You'll flame out. Whatever it is your profession, if you don't go through
it has shown in music, the music
Bingo.
business. I mean,
it's shown in TV business.
It has. There used to be a day you would work and practice and go to school and mentor and be mentored. Now everything is a big disposable lighter. You want to buy it fast, you want to use it fast, you want to throw it away fast. And these guys, man, you're right. You go to law school now, and it's all about social media, and it's about advertising yourself, and it's like, well, do you actually know how to do the damn job that you want to do? Well, I know how to Facebook.
Right.
So I know exactly what he's talking about.
And Scott, I'm sure, has a superior education, and he has such a tough job. I just watched a documentary over the weekend about innocent people in prison, innocent people who've been executed. And people like Scott, I mean, they really have a job to do because it is their job. And thank God for people like him that really do dive in and try to prove people innocent.
Could you imagine Scott Rosenblum walking into a Waynesville courtroom, into the community center?
No, I can't.
I really can't see is him.
Downtown Clayton lawyer going to Waynesville. They're like, listen, you may not want to be talking about vaccines and being masked when you come in here for jury selection.
Exactly.
The courthouse is one thing. What I would really like to see is Scott just being Scott around town in Waynesville.
People would be coming up and asking for his autograph if they knew.
They
I
probably
promise
would
you.
think he was a celebrity.
Well, here's the thing, and I've had, the honor of getting to know Scott and call him a friend. He's got a huge heart. I mean, he really does.
He
and
really does.
It's interesting because criminal defense attorneys, and if you're going up against them and you don't win, you're going to think it's the worst thing in the world. I can tell you that much.
He's a wonder. He really is a really good person.
Yeah, so he's very approachable.
And
he's very approachable.
He is very approachable. He is an attractive guy. He's a great dresser. I can't imagine anyone in Waynesville has seen the likes of Scott.
You know what the coolest thing is, and I can share because he's been out with it? He's got a really cool tattoo on his arm. You wouldn't think that.
I have not seen this tattoo.
I would.
You don't even have a tattoo, do you, Eric?
I don't. Isn't that
Which
amazing?
Blows my mind being a rock star.
Well, I'm not a rock star at heart all the time.
I'd like to get one like Yachty, be on air, give him Fox 2, have one on my neck.
It's not. You know what's freaked? This is going to sound the dumbest thing you've ever heard me say. And I've said some dumb ass
Are you
things.
sure, Eric?
I've said some dumb ass things. But when I was a kid, about 20, I was touring. I remember that. I was on the road, and I was thinking about getting a tattoo in Vegas one night. And I remembered a preacher said to me, Eric, if you get a tattoo, you won't be able to get into heaven. I remember that, and it reverberates off my brain every time I think I would love to get some ink on. But I'm like, man, what if this is true? What if you really can't get into heaven with a tattoo? So that's why. That's the main reason.
And then you got to your age now, and you just don't want to do it anymore.
It. Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Chris, you don't have a tattoo either, do you?
Oh, God, no. I would not look right with a tattoo.
Why not? Come on.
I just wouldn't.
I don't think Tabitha has
I
one.
do not have a
Damn,
tattoo.
I'm like 4.
I think certain people look okay with tattoos, and certain people just don't look okay. And I would be one of the ones that don't look okay.
Chicks these days have more tattoos than guys.
I see more tattoos everywhere with
Girls
anybody,
have them
especially
now.
in St. Charles County.
Yeah. But girls put them in like weird places, like on their feet, on their elbows, on the bottom of their arms. I mean, it's they put them in really odd places.
I can't see.
Tabitha, do you have any weird place tattoos?
No, she just said she doesn't
I have no
any.
tattoos, and I'm not against tattoos. But my thing is that while it may sound like a good idea today, I can't think of anything that I would want to tattoo on my body that will be there for the rest of my life.
I just thought it was cool the first time that Scott had the tattoo. I was like, damn.
Are you going to tell us what it is?
Damn.
I'm trying to think back because I've seen it at a pool party, and I'm thinking I don't remember.
No, I'm still
I
trying to
didn't-
figure
I
out
didn't see the
exactly
tattoo.
what it is.
You don't know what it is.
Well, no, not really.
So it's like a design.
It's a design.
There's a few things that I could see.
He's
You know,
the best.
your mom,
He really is.
you know, your mom's birthday might be one. Your own birthday, your kids' birthdays. I see that a lot. That a symbol that has meant something to you your whole life. Other than that, no, I don't really want to be a billboard or some kind of. I don't want to look like graffiti. It's okay. That's just me.
And tattoos change in time.
Chris, did we get a? Do we got a impromptu guest?
Yes.
Who do we have coming up?
Colonel Joe Adams.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Joe Adams called in. He has some information.
Yeah.
I'm Chris, I'm kind of out in the dark on this right now a little bit, but
I know more than you know.
That's good.
And we need to talk to the Colonel.
Colonel's calling 905. Colonel Joe Adams. You won't want to miss the Colonel coming up. Can you tell us what it's about? We need a tease.
We got problems.
Big problems.
That is not something you want to hear on a Monday morning from Chris.
Chris, no hit. I get that.
Quantico.
We're going to be talking about vetting Afghans.
Oh, my
And we're going to
gosh.
be talking about an aircraft.
Which is, I mean, you have to think this is breaking
me?
news, or Colonel Joe Adams would not be calling us.
Yeah.
He wants to get this message out.
He wants to get it
Colonel
out.
Joe Adams coming up right after the break. You're listening to The Edge with Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust from Fox 2. Share the show. We appreciate that. If you want to give us a call, 636-695-2915. Here's the other thing. If you want to give us questions, do so. We'll try to get those in with Colonel Joe Adams as well. Once again, most of our listeners know who he is. If you don't, one of the Rambo movies was loosely based on his life. He worked in 40 different countries, changing and leading armies to overthrow. Also, there's nobody who knows more about the border as he and his team worked the border for 12 years, saving women and children from the cartel. Even had a $1 million hit out on his life from cartel. So we'll come back. We'll talk with Colonel Joe Adams right after this. He wants to get some information out. You're listening to The Edge.
Edge morning traffic.
Minutes after a rough morning on 370 for eastbound drivers approaching the Discovery Bridge. Road work is still underway, but traffic is moving again after an earlier jam from Newtown Boulevard over just west of North 5th Street. Traffic is flowing on I-70 from the 64 split over to the Blanchette Bridge. 64 and the Page Avenue Extension drivers are also on the move. A stalled van 270 northbound at Graboy has traffic backed up to I-55. I'm Fox 2's Molly Rose, and that's your Edge traffic.
Listen to the Edge Morning Show live. Watch it live or anytime on demand. Details at ViperRocks.com or on Facebook.
Time for some upgrades? A new deck, a privacy fence, or maybe a whole new look with new siding. But who do you call? What you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. They are locally owned and have over 30 years experience in every kind of fencing, siding, and deck jobs. Free estimates and everything is done right the first time. Bad Boys Construction is veteran owned and gives military discounts. So what you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. Online at badboysconstructionllc.godaddysites.com. On Facebook at Bad Boys Construction LLC.
The legend lives on. Now 6 weekends at the St. Louis Renaissance Festival. Explore the village with Robin Hood and his crew. Lock your friends in the pit of misery and see birds of prey. Visit the Throne of Swords. Throw axes, then drink like a pirate at the new whiskey and rum tasting and have a brunch at the Joust with the King. Find unique handcrafted gifts at over 75 shops. There are 12 stages of exciting entertainment, including full contact armored jousting. September 18th through October 24th. Discount tickets at Costco, Menards, and STLRenfest.com.
It's the Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon, the annual year-long event where you can save big by bundling Home and Auto with Progressive. So big that we're kicking things off with fireworks, a monster truck battle, a fighter jet flyover, and it wouldn't be a party without the Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon dancers. You can't really hear them, but trust us, they are working it. So come for the fun and stay for the savings. Only at Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Join us Monday, September 27th for the St. Louis Police Department's North Patrol Division Fall Golf Tournament. Gather a group for the 4-man scramble at Sugar Creek Course in High Ridge for an 11 a.m. shotgun start. Tournament includes lunch, contests, silent auction, raffles, drinks on the course, and more. Hole sponsorship is also available, and 100% of the profits will support North Patrol officers. For details and registration, contact Officer Brian Recht at 314-444-0074. 444-0074.
Keep your resolution to quit cigarettes this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. I Quit Vapor carries the salt nicotine systems, their latest juice flavors, and all of their pod systems. Let their staff explain why the salt nicotine system is so effective in helping you to quit cigarettes for good. It has a much smoother delivery and allows you to adjust the amount of nicotine intake. I Quit Vapor is still your one-stop shop for everything vapor. Keep your quit cigarette resolution this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. Puff bars and disposables now available.
Now another hour of The Edge Morning Show on KFNS Troy St. Charles. The Edge Morning Show.
One of the things we're so dependent upon is our automobiles. There's no worse feeling when you go out to your car and it won't start. Oh, man. Tired of trying to find an honest, reliable mechanic for your car and truck? Town and County Garage in Wright City has kept the Westplex on the road since 1972. The biggest compliment to a company is repeat customers and referrals. When you need honest, reliable, and affordable auto repair from inspections, brakes to engine work, call Town and County Garage in Wright City, 636-745-3626.
Viper Weather with legendary chief meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, this is Viper meteorologist Dave Murray, off and running on our new work week. Lots of sunshine, but hazy skies. That's the smoke in the upper levels of the atmosphere from those western fires. 80s to near 90 degrees today, but most of the day in the 80s. Tonight, clear skies, 72. Tuesday, partly sunny. It's more humid. 90 degrees will do it for the high. Look for scattered showers and thunderstorms around Tuesday night and into Wednesday. In turn, it will be cooler. Temperatures near 80 degrees. There is a new tropical system hugging the Texas coast. We have to kind of keep an eye on that to see if any of that moisture gets pushed up our way. Still lots of questions about that. From the Viper Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Now back to the Edge on 100.7, The Viper.
Whipper River Electric, a Touchstone Energy cooperative. The Edge Morning Show.
Local headlines now with Fox 2's Vic Faust.
Hey guys, welcome back. 8:59 on this Monday, September 13th. We are talking right now out of the gate about the Cardinals, because here's the thing. They're a game out of the final wild card spot.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable to consider that nobody's winning. And the Cardinals are getting some here, they're getting some there. They're just a game out. They start a series in New York tonight with the Mets. We'll see where they go. But, hey, right now they are back in it, which blows my mind. So we'll see if we get sucked in or what's going to happen, but they certainly have some good momentum that they're riding right now. NFL season started yesterday just for you, Chris. Your Chiefs, your Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes came from behind to beat the Browns yesterday. Chiefs 1-0 as they were supposed to win. They were down early, but they came back and looked pretty good. Former President Trump, he's making a lot of comments now, even had some speculating that he already said that he will be running for another term as president of the United States. He also said that our country has problems with vaccines because the Democrats disparaged the vaccine when it was first being rolled out, when he rolled it out. So he said, if anybody wants to wonder why people are hesitant about the vaccine, you can blame the Democrats. We've got an election in California coming up. Is it going to be a recall on Gavin Newsom? We will certainly see what's going on there. Washington High School canceled their 9/11 tribute because they said, quote, it could be racially insensitive to some students. They were going to wear red, white, and blue uniforms and run out with the American flag, and the school canceled it. Is that happening where you're going to school or not? I don't know. You have to wait and see, but that's kind of where you are right now. There's a police standoff at an Arnold home. Allegedly, one woman was shot, another woman taken in as a hostage. That started about 3:20 this morning. We're following it on Fox 2. If we get any updates, we'll certainly pass that along to you. Washington University is publicly condemning a student who removed flags, about 3,000 that were put on mud field at Washington University's campus in honor of the 9/11 victims. The school says this was wrong, but will any disciplinary action go against the student who did it? We'll certainly keep you posted on what's going on with that. That's a look at your morning headlines. I'm Vic Faust.
The Edge Morning Show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Eric Johnson's here. Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. We appreciate everybody joining us again on this Monday morning. It's September 13th at 9:01. Special thanks to criminal defense attorney, one of the best in the business anywhere in the country, Scott Rosenblum, for giving us an update on what's going on with the law situations downtown, some of his court cases, and how younger attorneys just don't get it. They don't want to put the work in to really craft their skills and pay the price over time, what it takes to be the best at what you do. Eric said that's exactly how musicians are in the business now. Is that the way in the military? I don't know. The man who may know is Colonel Joe Adams, one of our most popular guests that we ever have. Colonel, it's always an honor to speak to you. We appreciate you giving us the time that you do. We hope you had a pretty good weekend, you and your wife. This morning, something certainly got you going that you wanted to share some information. What is going on?
Yeah, I had over the weekend, was involved in a very disturbing conversation with some people in the know. And so basically, three things that were part of this conversation was there's emergency paramedics and EMT people that have been sent to Quantico from state of Missouri, and good for them. They're paying these people $1,000 a day to be up there, and it's a 6-month detail. Now, 6 months they're going to be up there. Well, what does that tell you about the refugee program? They've already been assigned to sign a contract for 6 months at $1,000 a day. Anyway, when speaking with one of the high-ups and the paramedics up there in Quantico yesterday, I was told that just in conversation how it's going, because they're processing the people that's coming off the planes, landing there from Afghanistan, and they basically told me that I said, well, how are the vetting? How are you deciphering what the documentation on these people? And she said, well, none of them's being vetted. And I said, excuse me? She said, I don't care what they say on TV. We're processing 5,000 people a day, and none of them are vetted. Nobody. We don't know who these people are. And so they fill out paperwork and everything, but they have no way of vetting. In other words, they're not even vetted. We're led to believe they were vetted before they got here and got on the plane. And I was told that's totally false. None of these people are being processed. I can only speak about the Quantico facilities, okay? I was also told that they also haven't. I don't know if it's been on the news. I've heard about some measles outbreaks some places, but definitely in Quantico, they've got a measles outbreak now with the refugees coming in. And did you share with your listeners? We had a conversation a couple weeks ago about the C-17s.
No, we brought it up once. I did bring it up on air, Joe, and I appreciate you giving me that update. Let our listeners know what happened with some of these C-17s, or at least one of them.
Yeah, well, one of them, as of a couple weeks ago, about 20 of the C-17s they used to transport the refugees from Afghanistan have been permanently taken out of service because of biohazard contamination. Now, what that means is the refugees they put on those planes, some don't know how to use the proper toilet facilities, and they've basically, it's a biohazard nightmare. Now, so people probably think, well, okay, it's a biohazard, and people had problems, but they just wash the planes down. No. The planes have to be disassembled and disinfected and then reassembled.
So basically, they didn't. So the refugees didn't use the refugees didn't use the restrooms, and didn't know how to, or did on purpose.
Well, I wasn't there, so I can't answer that question.
And thank God you weren't.
Matter. It doesn't even matter. It's
I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I've seen that show in several different countries. I don't need to see it again.
No, it's like Joe. It's like 100,000 people at a stadium from Mexico. Not even a United States. 100,000 refugees. I always looked at that little problem. I go, there's no way in hell that they know who's in the Taliban, who's a Taliban sympathizer, who's an Al-Qaeda sympathizer. They just rush these people onto these planes. There's no way that a Taliban sympathizer is going to answer any questions honestly to whoever's vetting them. So so in the United States, and by the way, Joe, not one country on the planet Earth said they will accept these refugees. Not one. Not one. Guess who's in charge of these guys right now? Us. They're coming here. As a matter of fact, I think, don't we have somewhere in Kirkwood now that 1,000 are
Well,
coming
allegedly
into?
I was told that Webster Groves was looking for a way to accept near 1,000, but I haven't confirmed that yet.
That's such a feel-good thing, but who knows where these people came from, and who knows what kind of damage they want to do to us. And like you said, who knows who has measles and who doesn't have measles. I mean, it's nuts what's going on right now.
No, it's an epidemic up there right now, I was told. So, the problem is people talk about this vetting process, and that's fine, but I always reiterate the comment about you can't vet what's in somebody's heart. They can pass a background check. They've never been, they were employed by the U.S. military. Well, first of all those sympathizers that worked for the U.S. military, the Afghanis, I understand they got paid to do that. It wasn't out of the kindness of their hearts. They were paid to do it. And a lot of them were double agents anyway. And that's how the only general that we lost over there was killed by a Taliban sympathizer, an Al-Qaeda sympathizer, and murdered the general. That Joe Biden, I don't think, no, I think it was Obama. It was either Obama or Biden didn't even go to the funeral. I think it was Obama. Didn't even attend the general's funeral. Oh, so anyways, the third thing, I covered the measles thing. There's nobody being vetted now, and they're processing about 5,000 people a day, and none of them had any kind of history on these people whatsoever. It's whatever the people tell them, period. But the other interesting thing is, I am friends with a federal police officer, federal law enforcement, and some other my associates in my militia are also friends with him. And when I talked to the paramedic, they mentioned, oh, and by the way, so-and-so is up here in Quantico on duty. He's working the facilities where we're processing these people. So one of my associates that's close to me is also friends with this federal agent and called the federal agent. And said, oh, yeah, we talked to so-and-so, and the colonel said, hey, give you a call and say hi. He goes, oh, yeah. So my friend says to the federal agent, what's your job up there? He goes, oh, we're just waiting for a plane to blow up. And he didn't laugh. And the person that called him said, you're joking, right? And he goes, no. Our job is to be here just waiting for one of these planes to blow up or en route. He said, are you serious? He said, I'm dead serious.
So you're talking about one of the planes that's coming over from Afghanistan that probably has bombs on it, which makes a lot of sense.
We got federal agents, and I can only speak about the Quantico facilities. I don't know. I don't have any sources in the other facilities. But the Quantico facilities, the federal agents are there for one reason and one reason only, waiting for one of the planes to blow up.
And that's not surprising. You know what, Joe? We talked about this on this show last week. I have a lot of military contacts, so I've been thankful to get a lot of good information that a lot of people, Americans, don't understand what's really going on in the airport in Kabul. And a lot of what happened is when they opened the gates, people ran in. And the Afghans who ran in are not the people who are our allies. They were not the interpreters. They were not the people that were previously vetted. These were just people who happened to rush the airport. Thousands of them got in. And the flights that left the airport, when we see those photos of all the Afghans on the flights, there were almost no Americans that left on those flights. Those were all Afghans. They were never vetted. We have no clue who they are. They were not our allies. The interpreters and the Americans were primarily evacuated by private contractors, not the Biden administration. So the people, the thousands and thousands of Afghans, the Biden administration actually evacuated are just random people who were in the area, who rushed the airport. We don't know who they are. Now they're in our country. And think about this. We really have no way to vet them, because are we going to call the Taliban and ask them to check their driver's license or to check their criminal record? I mean, we have no idea who these are. And as we know with the people with the Muslim faith, a lot of them have the same name. I mean, you might have 1,000 people named Muhammad. How can you vet them all? It is literally impossible.
No, like one of my neighbors here in our subdivision, I was speaking with her, and she said, oh, yes, I donated some money to the refugees, the Afghan refugees. I said, you did what? Now, this is a woman who I have trained with firearms. And I said, you did what? She goes, I donated money to those poor refugees. Poor refugees, huh? I said, well, let me tell you something. You got grandkids, right? She goes, yes. And then I said, well, how old are they? She said, 3, 5, 11. She went through the numbers. I said, well, someday, I guarantee you, your grandchildren are going to have to deal deal with these people. I said, do you fully believe that some of those people that we're bringing over here don't want to kill us today, and they will recruit others because they all follow the Quran? I go, you have to be so naive to think that we have not imported terrorists in their ideology, and more are coming. I mean, just do the numbers. If it's 1 out of 100, okay, we're processing 5,000 a day. Wake up, people.
So
it was I wouldn't have brought one of them over here.
Amen. And I mean, you don't even have to. We can talk about Afghanistan all day, but we can also turn our attention to the United States border. You have to be the closest person I know that might have an actual answer for this. Why? Why is the Biden administration just, man, if it doesn't matter where you're from in the world, don't worry about having COVID, don't worry about being a terrorist or an extremist. You have to have some theory on what's going on right now with the United States military, the administration, people in Congress. What is going on? Why are they doing this? It's not because they're great people. They're not. They're horrible people. Why is the left doing this?
Well, that's an easy answer, because this is intentional.
Yes,
whatever
but why?
they can do to hurt America, they're going to do it, and they are just killing us right now. They are now understand, like we talked before, the Taliban is in business now, and the Al-Qaeda is in business with the Mexican drug cartels.
Yeah, but
Eric wants somebody to say that somebody's pulling the strings.
Yes.
And he wants to know who's pulling the strings if we continue to say that this is intentional, what is happening.
Why does it?
He wants to know. He wants somebody to say that there really isn't. Who's doing this? Who's going after America?
My question is this: why is it Nancy Pelosi and Amy Klobuchar, any American patriotic? Why would they be on board with this? I just don't understand it. I cannot figure it out. Why our representatives are going, enough? You can't do this. You're destroying us. Yet they let it happen.
It's the hidden answer there is the fact that the higher ups in the Democratic Party, the puppets. I mean, I even think Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she's a puppet too. Somebody's running the show, and it's not them. But to get their objective of socialism, i.e., communism, the only way they're going to do that is to break America's back and break us down. But I was also stopped by a young physician at the golf course the other day, and he said, because he had heard about me, and because the Washington Guard, my militia stickers on my car, and he said, I've heard about the militia. Can you tell me more about it? And we talked, and he goes, I want you to know something, Mr. Adams, that there is a majority out there, the quiet, the silent majority, that's ready and willing to do something about this when the time comes. And I said, I believe that. I really do believe that. I think, if civil war breaks out in the United States, here's the big problem with the Civil War. That makes us so vulnerable to our enemies. I know people, this sounds crazy, but the Chinese would love to see a civil war break out in the United States, because that would give them the opportunity to land military operational personnel here. And that's far-fetched. Really? No, it's not. No, our enemies want us to go to battle over here and create chaos. But the Democratic high-up parties, their objective is to break this country into pieces. Just break it.
No,
Break
there's
it
no
down
doubt,
and
Eric,
build
what
it
he's
back.
saying. We've already got evidence of Russian, and I'm not talking about ballot or election interference. What I'm specifically talking about, Russian and Chinese bots jumping in on social media, trying to create problems between parties and races to create so much division and infighting in the country. It's happening with Russian and Chinese programs in social media and online to create as much problem as you possibly can within the country, which ties into that.
It's
to
all part
create
of the
as much
same fabric.
division,
Yeah.
to create a civil war. And Joe, it's interesting because the first day I met you, almost 2 years ago now, you told me, and I thought you said, maybe it was by the year, and correct me if I'm wrong, 2050, there would be a civil war here. And you said the only thing that was upsetting to you about that is that you wouldn't be here to fight it.
Right. That's the only thing that bothers me. I mean, it's inevitable, okay? If we continue continue down this path, and we might, in this path, if they stopped it tomorrow, the damage they've done is you can't fix it.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer is the old theory. You have to, before you can conquer a nation, you have to divide it, and that's what it's doing.
When did a Joe Biden from Scranton, PA, become a social Marxist?
He's a puppet, Eric. You know.
I understand that, but
and
I
you're
don't
never
understand
going
it.
to hear or get the answer. Well, why are they doing it? Why are they? No, you don't get to know everything.
And right now,
answer.
Eric, Pakistan. Joe, what are we going to do about Pakistan? I mean, they are all over us right now. They are actually bombing the Northern Alliance, the resistance forces over in Afghanistan.
It's already done. It's over.
Well,
They
it's not-
defeated.
no,
they
they're not.
defeated that
That's
group
not
in the
true.
northern province.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
They're not defeated. They're
Well, we
still fighting.
reported that last Friday that Punjab region had
they're-
been taken over by the Taliban.
Well, Panjshir Valley.
Panjshir Valley had been
they're
taken
not-
over.
Well, it's not been completely taken over. Part of it has been, but the Northern Alliance, they are out there fighting every single day. They're still fighting. One little area was taken over, and what they've done now, the Taliban that's taken over that little area in Panjshir, they've come in, they've taken out all of the men, all of the males who are 12 years and older. They have already taken them away, and they're going to execute them if they didn't do it yesterday.
Well, now you see what's going on.
And
It's the Taliban.
They
We
went
reported.
well because of Pakistan.
Well, Joe. Well, regardless
no,
of
no,
because
go back. Now, don't forget.
we were told it's under
Where are they
100%
doing that?
Taliban
Well,
rule
doing
now.
that to
It's not.
break the Northern Alliances, the northern provinces up there in the alliance have never sided wholeheartedly with any of the extremists, Al Qaeda.
Right.
They're kind of doing their own thing because I told you I was tied to the Mujahideen back in the '80s, and I know those people. And then when they assassinated the leader, my friend, the head of the Mujahideen, and of course the Taliban moves up, and these people have never joined the Taliban. And so the reason Pakistan is hammering the northern province tribes is because they support Taliban. They're the ones who started Taliban.
Right.
Via us, we financed it. Saudi Arabia financed it. Jimmy Carter gave the go-ahead. We had Pakistan form it, but they still have an alliance. Why are all those Taliban and Al-Qaeda people living in Pakistan where they know they are?
Absolutely.
Of course, I mean,
Pakistan
Pakistan's been
supports
involved
terrorism.
since day one.
No question. But what are we going to do about it? Because right
We're not
now,
gonna-
Joe, you know
we're
what?
not going to do anything.
If-
We're not going to do anything.
I know, and you're right. We're not going to do anything. And it's so frustrating to me because you know what? We have Pakistan, the ISI, literally bombing the Northern Alliance. And do you know, not one of us, the Northern Alliance has always been there to support U.S. troops. Always. They have never turned against us. But yet here, we had the opportunity to back up the resistance fighters, and we didn't do it. No country stepped up to help these people. And now in this one area, they are taking all of the boys away, all of the males, and they're going to execute them. And the resistance, the Taliban is spreading propaganda because they want everyone to think that they've won. And they haven't won. The resistance fighters are still out there. They're releasing video. And, they're still hard at it. But we're not doing anything to help them.
We're not going to.
No, I know.
Which is why it's over.
It will be over. They'll all be killed. No question.
Yeah, the Taliban's they have to do that to control the northern provinces. They and the tribes. They've always been at each other's throat. They've never fully joined the Taliban or fought for the Al Qaeda. They've always done their own thing. They're very similar to the country of Burma. Burma's got 13 different ethnic groups, and they say we're not a part of the Burmese government. We got our own state. We're independent, and that's what the northern province has been the same way. We don't identify with Kabul, and we do our own thing. Well, that's unfortunately. Here comes the Taliban via the Pakistanis, and they're going to take them out.
How does this country look in 10 years? And I want, before you answer, I want you to throw into the equation Texas, Florida, all the red states. How does this country look in 10 years?
I think it's going to be totally different than what it is today. You think it's bad now? It takes 2 generations to change an ideology, or sometimes 3. But the ideology in this country is changing for the bad. There's nothing good going on in this country. If you can make a list of what's happening in this country, just an open list of what you're aware of, it's all bad. Now, how long can you survive doing that?
How are the American people, and I would never ever want to say this, how are they so stupid? How are we so stupid to allow this and not be able to see the forest through the trees, as they say? Why cannot we vote these people out and change course?
That's a really good question. And, so when I talk to my neighbors, I just scratch my head and think, what is wrong with you?
And that's what I try to
See
explain
what's
to
going
Eric
on,
all the
and
time.
They just, I've talked to people. They said, well, we don't care how bad it gets. Yeah, we'll never move from around here. So I said, well, it's getting worse every day. The police can't do anything. The government's not doing anything. The politicians won't allow them because all this comes down from the top. All this stuff about, the defund the police and stuff, that all starts at the top and melts down. It doesn't start at the bottom. This is all people that have the authority to make these decisions are okaying it. Like when I told you about that undercover investigation I did for for a federal agency, and I gave them all the information, the gun running in North County, where the guns are coming from, and in the old days they would just go and shut them down or send an agent undercover, but no, they're not allowed to, and they say there's nothing we can do. I go, then why did I do the investigation? Why did I bring all this information? What is this? Here's the problem. I know every time I see a shooting in North County and all these people are shot, these guys are all carrying Glocks with extended magazines. Well, I told them who's selling all the guns and trafficking guns directly targeted to that community. And when I talked to the black community, I told them, they said, well, it's intentional. They're doing it to destroy us. I said, why don't you go public with this stuff and put pressure on the federal agencies to shut this gun running to North County down? We can't because there's nothing they can do.
Nothing they can do.
It sounds similar to a lot of the things that I hear. Joe, we've got about 1 minute, 2 minutes left here. Just put it this way. As you say, to give some I get to give a precedent to the timing that you talk about, kind of a prediction, if you will, in the next 20 to 30 years, there being civil war here, and not trying to go over the top. Just think 20 years ago when 9/11 happened. Did anybody in America ever think you would see high schools not allowing their teams to run onto football fields in red, white, and blue or with flags? So if anybody says, well, we don't forget or we haven't forgot, think about in 20 years what happened. Now, there are some, not all, but some schools where you're not even allowed to run onto a football field with an American flag because some people may find it offensive.
Yeah,
so where are we going to be in 20 years from now?
The snowball rolling down the hill. If everybody's ever built a snowman and you start at the top of the hill and you run a snowball down a hill, all it does is get larger. It doesn't get smaller, it gets larger. And that's the problems we have in this United States. We forgot about who we were and what we sacrificed to the wars to be free. Part of our ideology is freedom, but these people don't understand. They're killing us. They're killing us. But my children's children will be involved in a civil war in this country, by state, and you're gonna start seeing some serious people thinking about seceding from the Union here in the next 5 to 10 years.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh no, it's going to start per state.
Who's first? Who's first? Texas, right?
But this problem is like a snowball going down the hill in the mentality of these people getting away with this. Vic, I'll talk to you in private. I come across something else that is so incredibly horrible, it's unimaginable. But before I share it with your listeners, I think you and I need to talk in private.
Yeah, I'll give you a call.
He's
Joe.
buying the coffee today.
No, it's that bad. This would not. This is the kind of stuff you guys really need to think about before you air it.
No, I know, and I appreciate that, and I've spent some alone time with you, and I get it. I do, and I appreciate you letting us know about that. Hey, Joe, we got to take a break. I'll tell you this: we appreciate everything you've done and trying to educate our listeners.
Golf.
Yeah, go.
Hey, Joe, before you leave, there's some that are asking how they can join your militia.
Well, okay, I should have. They asked me last time how they contact me, and I said there's no way. Well, there is a way. It's just the email address for the Guard, which is Growing Hands, and oh my God, this thing's getting huge. Is just the email is Washington Guard with the number 9, the numerical, WashingtonGuard9@gmail.com, and I'll respond to anybody who emails me.
Nice.
Or my assistant will. Somebody will contact
With a free ride in the tank.
Hey, Joe, I'm glad you're going to go play some golf. Enjoy.
Hey, Vic. I know you got to go, but I bought a new gun yesterday. I'm sure I buy guns all the time, but anyway, I bought a flamethrower.
What?
I want a
No,
flamethrower.
not one of those toy flames. This is not for burning the grass around the cracks of your sidewalk. No, I bought a flamethrower. I'll let you go with that. I'm going to go play golf. You guys have a good day, and thanks for having me on.
Colonel Joe Adams, we love you, my friend. Thanks again. I'm going to come over to the house and check that out.
All right.
Clearing out the bunkers in Germany, kind of the flamethrower.
But the thing is, if Joe walked outside his front yard with a flamethrower,
No
like
one would
that,
care. It'd be
they'd be
like,
like, oh, it's Joe.
It's Joe.
And if you know where Joe lives, his neighbors know him, and he's got a little bit of room to do things like that, which is.
When Joe says, "Hey Vic, I bought a new gun," you cringe before he gives you the answer.
I went.
I'm just jealous.
I was like, "Where's he going to put it?" Because I'm not kidding you. If you go down, if you check out what he has, the Clayton police say it's the largest. It's twice the size of their gun collection.
He's installing a nuclear silo
No,
right
you-
now.
Eric, imagine Joe's to guns as you are to guitars.
I'm sure. I'm
and,
sure.
I believe that.
And I'll get it. We'll set up a lunch or we'll go over to his house sometime.
We
Seriously.
have to. I just want to see the tank.
But you'll spend hours inside just looking at things. And he has a gun range for those new listeners down underneath the house. Sometimes I think he talks to us from
in the bunker.
Yeah, because he kind of goes in and out with the sound.
Does he drive that tank around?
I don't know when the last time he is, but he has in Clayton. Yes,
I'm sure
he
for-
was allowed.
Yeah, for all the fairs and parades that go
I
on.
know this sounds funny, but I think he might have even had a license plate for it.
Like it has a license plate on it.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to remember. I think he had to
I've not
register
seen
it.
his tank. I've been. My friend used to live next door to him. I've not seen his tank.
It probably goes as fast as her
My Jeep. It probably goes even slower.
That's her dream, to be sitting on a
than my
Jeep,
Jeep.
rolling into Clayton.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean a tank?
Yeah, I mean a tank. Sorry, she's already in her
But
Jeep.
when we come back, I know we have to go to break. I want to go back and touch base again on what Colonel Joe said about the airplane and then waiting for an airplane to explode.
Okay,
Because
we'll
in the
get in-
meantime, I text a couple people
Awesome.
and I found out what the deal is with that.
All right, we'll get into that. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Edge. Share the show. You know what we do here. Fastest 2 hours of morning talk radio, separating fact and fiction and doing it with an edge. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. If you want to give us a call, you can. The phone number is 636-695-2915. We love this. We'll be back with more right after this.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
Live on 100.7.
The Viper.
Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-A-Thon, the annual year-long event for saving big on home and auto insurance. These savings are available up until and straight through Labor Day, Halloween, Grover Cleveland's birthday, Taco Tuesday, the anniversary of the moon landing, White Chocolate Day. The sale literally never ends. You can come on Jupiter's Ascension, National Pisces Day, but not Leap Day. Just kidding. We're doing Leap Day because every day is perfect for saving money with a home and auto bundle only at Progressive. But for real, we're not doing White Chocolate Day because white chocolate is gross. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at www.pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
An important message from Quiver River Electric Cooperative. During this unprecedented time in our world, we want to emphasize our commitment to continue delivering reliable power while keeping our members and employees safe. Our linemen are taking precautions to stay socially distanced. Other employees are working from home. Although we've adjusted our operations, we want you to know that we are still here and we will continue to keep the lights on. For more, visit quiver.com or call us at 1-800-392-3709. Quiver River Electric, a touch-tone energy cooperative.
Weber Chevrolet has been in business since 1902. No other car dealer in St. Louis of any brand can say that. Nobody sells more Chevrolet, period. Weber Chevrolet is one dealer with 3 roofs. In Missouri at Olive and 270, and in Illinois Metro East, Columbia, and Granite City. All easy to get to, just follow the 270 loop. Also, all online accessible at WeberChevrolet.com. Right now, Weber Chevrolet is open but very thorough in their cleaning, disinfecting, and social distancing rules. And don't forget, Weber Chevrolet service departments are award-winning and second to none. In fact, other dealers send their problems to Weber Chevy to fix. Now during this crisis, Weber Chevrolet has teamed up with Detroit to come up with awesome deals to help people save money and manage their budget. Discounts, incentives, and the ability to not make your payment for up to 4 months. Weber Chevrolet since 1902, WeberChevrolet.com.
Okay, so if you're like me and still doing your back-to-school shopping, one word, Kohl's. Right now, they have the best deals on the brands my kids love. I got my son Converse sneakers for $60, 25% off Vans tees for my daughter, and 25% off Nike gear for both of them. Oh, but the best part? I got an extra 20% off and Kohl's cash, too. So I may just have to go back and get a little something for myself. Flex Styles, Vans, Converse, and Nike coupons do not apply. 20% offer ends August 29th. Some exclusions apply. See storerecords.com for details.
Hey, Dan Breen here for someone other than my kid's restaurant, and that's Brian Dawson Roofing. If you're renting, I'll give you permission to tune this out, unless you just like the sound of my voice. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or one of those rental property moguls, sooner or later you're going to need a reputable roofer. That's when you call Brian Dawson. I met Brian on a men's retreat a couple years ago. This man has the expertise and the integrity to take care of all your roofing needs. I've trusted Brian Dawson with my roofing needs. You should too.
Parents, do you want your child's shoes to fit perfectly? Then you need to get your kids Skechers Stretch Fit shoes. Because Skechers Stretch Fit shoes are so comfortable and so stretchy, they easily slip on and fit almost like a sock. Your child is constantly moving and constantly growing, so they need a shoe that moves with them. And Skechers Stretch Fit's soft, stretchable material contours to their busy feet. It's a perfect fit. And not only do they fit like a dream, they perform like one too. Skechers Stretch Fit keeps your child's feet comfortable all day long. With Skechers' exclusive air-cooled memory foam and a breathable Stretch Fit knit, your child will be cool and comfy whether playing, studying, or just hanging out. Plus, you'll love just how durable they are. Stretch Fit is designed to take everything your child can throw at them, and if they get dirty, just pop them in the washing machine. It's that easy. Give your kids perfect comfort that adjusts to them with Skechers Stretch Fit shoes. Find them at a Skechers store near you, Skechers.com, or wherever kids' shoes are sold.
Here comes more of the Edge Morning Show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Edge. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. Big Faust here with Fox 2. All right, 636-695-2915. 636-695-2915. Special thanks to Colonel Joe Adams giving us a call in, giving us an update on some of the information that he's getting. He's going to be keeping us more updated as time goes on and things that he's hearing and situations of that nature. Anybody that was wanting to know more about his militia, if you go back through our comments on the Facebook line at 100.7 The Viper, there is an email there that you can jump in and go from that standpoint and try to get involved if that's something that floats your boat. Once again, you can catch us.
I want to play with that flamethrower. That floats my boat. That'd be sweet.
100.7 The Viper on Facebook. Share the show. You can catch us at YouTube, The Edge Morning Show. And, of course, you can stream us. Take us wherever you are at viperrocks.com. As we were finishing up with Joe, and we always run out of time, we could talk to Joe for an hour. Tabitha, he brought up one situation regarding military personnel, talking about expecting a plane, or we're at one point in time waiting for a plane to blow up. You wanted to bring that back up for a reason.
I did, because we didn't get into it with him. We didn't have the time to do that. But I messaged somebody I know who's in the military and said, what does this mean? What's going on? What are the threats there? Because that's something I hadn't really heard too much about. And what his reply is that we have to remember that when these airplanes are landing in Afghanistan, and then it's more than one airport. It's not just Kabul. There are other airports in use, which private contractors are flying people out of. There are no Americans on the ground. When these airplanes land, whether it's from a private defense contractor or whether it's from the Biden administration, there are no Americans on the ground. It is the Taliban servicing these planes when they land. And what they're doing, like these six planes in northern, not in Kabul, but in northern Afghanistan, where they've evacuated them. They've taken everybody to hotels, and the planes are just sitting there. The Taliban, they have a lot of time to be hanging out, strapping bombs to planes or rigging them in some way. And there's really nothing anyone can do about it because they're not allowing anyone to do anything. They're saying, okay, now you're ready to go, go. And they're not saying, okay, yeah, you can get out and inspect your plane. That's just not being allowed. So they could technically implant explosives and send them on their way.
Yeah, it's dynamic. I never thought about. I mean,
I hadn't thought about it either.
I mean, those pilots, they're trained to keep. I used to work at the airport. See, he owns an plane company that works on planes. The deal is this: Chris. The first thing they two things they teach you when you work at an airport: get all the foreign debris off the ground because it could get sucked into the jet. And then the second thing is security. See something, say something. See something, say something. these planes have been over there quite a while, and they're going to use them eventually. And it's just one terrorist that all he has to do is put the side of one of those aircraft, a bomb, or in the wheel well or something where they can't find it. That thing gets to altitude and boom, it's gone.
Well, exactly. And that could happen. I know the Taliban right now, they're a little upset because a lot of the Afghan soldiers who were trained by Americans, whenever the Taliban started invading Afghanistan, they got in their airplanes and they left. And a lot of them went to Dubai. A lot of them went to Qatar. And now the Taliban saying, well, you have to come back. All the pilots have to come back. And they have to bring those planes with them. We want them back. So right now, the United States, we're trying to work out some sort of deal with the Afghan troops that left and took the planes with them that they don't have to go back. Right now, they're all in a camp. A lot of them are in the right outside of Dubai in some type of camp for Afghans. And they're trying to evacuate them because the Taliban will kill them.
Well, today the Secretary of State goes up to Capitol Hill to answer some of these questions. Nancy Pelosi, or whoever the committee leader was, says that every member gets 3 minutes with this guy. How can you ask probing, thoughtful questions to the Secretary of State, the guy responsible for destroying this entire operation? How can you just say, you know what, you got 3 minutes, ask him whatever you want, and basically it's the easiest thing in the world for this guy to run out the clock on every single congressman that asks him a question. We're not going to find out anything from this facade. Nothing's going to happen. We're not going to find anything else out.
Many times, if you're seeing it in the news and in public, it's all coordinated from a national standpoint. As I've said many times on the show, you're not going to be finding out some breaking news or breaking information that's going to change America. It's just not happening.
No, it's not. Did you notice yesterday that President Bush, a Republican guy that got us into this war, said that it's not the external threats. We also have threats from inside. We also have domestic terrorists. Now this clown is starting to call American citizens terrorists again. What is going on? What is going on? Seriously, this is getting so dark and deep that I can't even I don't even know the right questions to ask anymore.
Well, of course they think we're terrorists. Anyone
but
who opposes
Bush,
anyone,
the guy that
do you really think that Bush is any different than Obama or Biden or anyone else? They're all part of the same regime. There's no difference. It doesn't matter. Exactly. And you're right, Vic. There's no difference. It doesn't matter if they're a Democrat or a Republican. When you get to the top like that, you're not working for the people anymore. You're working for the regime. And that's why they fought so hard against Trump, because he is not part of the regime. He actually does represent the people. And that's why they did every single thing they could, including cheating and lying, to get him out of office.
Did you see well, there was a presser, but did you see the photo op that the New York police and firefighters took with Trump with a smile on their face? I mean, there are people that support Trump. And he also said, and I think this is where it gets a little confusing, there are campaign finance laws where he cannot come out and say, yes, I'm running. He's running. In a presser the other day, he said...
There's no doubt in my mind he is running.
He said, well, eventually we'll let you know. And he goes, I think it's a choice. It's something that you guys are going to appreciate and like a lot. If that doesn't say he's running, nothing else will. Now
I hope he doesn't.
Now he has 2 years to think about it, obviously. 2 years can change a lot of things, but he's throwing his hat in the ring. I'm telling you right now.
I don't think there's any doubt, Eric.
No.
He is going to be running. When you look at what's going to happen, first of all, with the midterms, and that's going to show a lot. I really think we'll find out more once the midterms happen here and who has control and where that's actually going. But, Eric, if some of what you see is frustrating you, just get ready for this week, because there is a riot / insurrection, as it's being called, quote, being planned for D.C. Maybe it's protest. But I'm just telling you, national media is covering it as what I just said. These are the same people who tried to kill us politicians. These are the same people who came in and caused the deaths of Americans on January 6th. It's a protest at the Capitol, and we'll see how it's covered. But just pay attention to see what comes out of that, if it's to try to get your eyeballs to go somewhere else instead of being over here. Yeah. But we started talking about this, at least on a news media standpoint, over a week ago.
Yeah. When is that? Is there a date set?
I thought it was Wednesday, but I'm not
I
sure.
hope people heed the advice. Don't go. It's a trap. Don't go.
Yes, we're falling into their traps. We really need to sit on our hands, put gag balls in our mouth, and just let the Democrats.
Well, if it's a trap, Tabitha, is it you say it's from Democrats who are trying to set up
think
Republicans?
Absolutely so. And I think a lot of what happened on January 6th was the same thing. I think a lot of those people who did storm, not the people who were let in, but the people who actually did storm the Capitol, and there were people that we saw breaking out windows and being very aggressive towards police officers.
We did see them with the black helmets.
Exactly.
That's true. I have to
it
give you
is
that.
true. There's
there
videos.
were black helmets of Antifa members there.
Absolutely. And I absolutely believe to some element of that, 99% of the people were there for the right reason. They were doing the right thing. They were peaceful. But we had that 1% that came in that caused all the trouble. And I have no doubt in my mind, if they set something up again, the Democrats, they are going to want to solidify that Republicans and conservatives are violent, and they're going to make sure this is worse than the last time. Because look how much damage that did to us and to our party, even though it wasn't conservatives that were violent.
I thought you said you weren't a Republican.
Well, if I have to choose one or the other, I am a middle of the roader. I don't feel like a Republican or a Democrat, but at some point you have to go one direction or the other.
Yeah, man, you can't look at yourself as a Republican when the guy that started this whole Afghanistan thing didn't just come out and say, look, these a-hole terrorists over there in Afghanistan, that's where they were, that's where they are. And he didn't say anything about Joe Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan. He literally flipped ahead in his notes in Pennsylvania, and he said that we have to look out for extremism within. He was aiming that right at us, our people, citizens of the United States.
Because they think, you know what, that's like the argument. And so many people.
That is, it's still haunting me to this day, by the way.
What is?
That Bush comes out and actually uses the liberals' talking points and saying that there is extremism in America, yet we just let 100,000 refugees from where the terrorists
but Eric, that's
actually live and party.
The Democrat playbook for them to say, just like the FBI said, what white men are the most dangerous people in the United States. White men are the biggest threat to terrorism.
Well, at 1 in the morning at your favorite pub, maybe, but other than that, not so much.
We know that's not true, but that's also like there's a lot of groups out there who say the Shia, when it comes to Muslims, they're the dangerous ones. Well, guess what? They're out of all of the hundreds of terror organizations, terror groups, almost none of them are Shiites. They are all radical Sunni, but yet the United States supports radical Sunni. And people don't understand that. We always do the opposite of what we should do.
Be very interesting to see how this election goes in California. You talk about a crossroads for this party. If Larry Elder or some other person running against Gavin Newsom wins in a blue state,
there's no other chance, Eric. There's no other chance. There's nobody else. There's nobody else.
Isn't that the same
There's
thing?
There's nobody else.
Isn't that the same thing that Hillary Clinton said a few years ago?
No.
When running for president?
No.
I remember hearing that all the time.
No, because the rules are different. That's not an apples to apples comparison, unfortunately.
So what's the rules? That there's going to be voter fraud?
No. It's just the whole situation.
I'm telling you, man. People in California,
from top to bottom,
people in California are sick of this. And the people that matter, that vote, that paid the bills out there, they're sick of it.
Then we're going to find out.
And they're proud.
We're going to find out really fast if there's, quote, enough of those people.
How many crackheads with bags of unfilled out ballots are there out there right now? Was that the only crackhead in California that they found? Or could there be others? Dun, dun, dun. I think that's a fascinating story because that shows that, oh, look, this can actually be done. So there's a chance that these crackhead ballots could have been counted. How many did he have in that bag, Tabitha? Maybe 1,000?
There were hundreds.
No, there were a couple hundred.
Hundreds.
But that's enough to start the ball rolling for fraud.
Eric, okay, now you're making my point for me all over again, which is what I've told you before.
So you're saying that there could be fraud.
When you made the bet with me, I said, Eric, somehow, some way, there is no way California will allow their governor to be recalled. They'll do whatever it takes, especially when you have the power of all the positions. Somehow, some way. Eric, that's what it was about. There are 3 to 1 liberals to conservatives in the state of California, almost 3-1.
There's some things that you say that I just have a hard time, and I know you're right. I just can't wrap my mind around it. I just can't wrap my mind around when you walk down Venice Beach, which I just did a few months ago. When you walk down this city and the financial institutions that used to be beautiful buildings are now riddled with graffiti. I mean, it is crazy. And that people are literally leaving in droves for Republican states. They're a proud state. They don't want their businesses leaving California to go to Texas. I don't see how you can make a case that he can even have a chance of winning this thing on Wednesday. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I think, Vic, I'm going to be writing you a big check.
I think Newsom's scared. I don't know.
I really do. I really do, because you're right. It's not about this is not.
Did you hear Newsom's speech earlier?
No.
He made a speech. I saw it this morning.
From
and
the
he
weekend?
seems
Wait a minute. From
worried.
the weekend?
I don't know. It was on Fox National
not
this
only
morning.
him, but
he
his
seems
party
worried.
His party is worried.
He seemed very worried. He was trying to tell everybody, if the recall against me is successful, you're going to lose all of the progress that we've made.
Yes. As a black man will be the governor. I mean, that is so ridiculous. That seems progress to me. First black governor in California?
Well,
okay.
He's specifically talking. One of his main issues was regarding abortion and abortion funding, because now one of his biggest supporters, regardless of how you feel about abortion, is Planned Parenthood and NARAL in the state of California. They've become one of his biggest supporters of financial backing to the campaign. That's what he was primarily speaking about. But, of course, there were other issues as well.
What about Rose McGowan coming out on stage with Larry Elder saying this is your neck, this is the guy you need to vote for?
She said he is a good man that you should vote for. What Rose McGowan, actress Rose McGowan, was doing was tying Gavin Newsom's wife to Harry Weinstein. And that's what that whole situation was about over the weekend. For those who
I did not know that.
Yeah, so she flipped the script and is campaigning with Larry Elder.
I know that she's been very outspoken and coming out in talking about how she's been blacklisted in Hollywood because of her conservative beliefs.
Correct. And that's what happens. And that's why I always talk about what an evil place Hollywood is. And
it is.
And it got so nasty and so bad over a long period of time. And now, good luck if you... And here's the problem. I don't want to hear from anybody's political views who's an actor, entertainer, whatever.
No, nor do I.
But the problem that you have is this, is that one side is allowed to say what they want, one side is not, and if one side says something, they get blackballed, blacklisted, and then they're not allowed to be in that situation anymore. And then another way that Hollywood is trying to, let's just say, deviate from any conservative beliefs, you know what they do? They'll have fundraisers, and they'll ask for certain donations. And if somebody doesn't donate or get involved, they can find out how you are, how you may feel from that standpoint as well. And don't think for a second that those jobs won't stop. Those jobs will stop for you if you come out and say, or if you don't get on board with everybody.
To be honest with you, though, I think
for most people,
Hollywood, and this is not just from me, this is from a few millennials that I know, Hollywood is making crappy movies right now. They are making crap
Well,
movies.
they're making a lot of political films.
I guess you would see them, Tabitha.
I see every single one of them.
I will say this also. I do have a friend who was in a very large studio in Los Angeles, California. He happens to know I remember what I told you, that they are moving to Texas. There are there are some major heavy hitters right now looking to start studios in Texas right now. And the reason is they want complete artistic freedom to do whatever the hell they want and market their. I'm telling you, man.
I'm going to tell you something in about 2 seconds that goes much, much deeper than that.
Go ahead. Well, I mean, what do you got? Because I think that is as deep as it gets. If you control the entertainment industry, if you control the news industry, which they do, Vic, and if you control the politics industry, which they do, you got everything.
But I think that one point a lot of people miss, and I'm definitely not saying anything bad about this. I work with these people, I work with all these studios, et cetera, and I work with some really amazing, good people.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is not a bad thing, But it's not just conservatives maybe who are on the chopping block when it comes to saying certain things. But we have to remember the film studios, the vast majority of actors, directors, producers, the vast majority of everyone in Hollywood are of the Jewish faith.
I believe
Almost all of them.
That's right.
There's very few Catholics or people who are non-Jewish in Hollywood. Very, very few.
The people that pull the levers, you mean?
No, I'm talking about even actors, even extras on sets. The majority of people belong to the Jewish faith. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to point out that that's also part of Hollywood.
So what, that there's a different belief system then? Or
Not so much a different belief system. It's just that even Motown was started by Jewish white men. And a lot of people don't know that. But Hollywood is owned by the Jews. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not just, and of course,
you always have to say there's not.
well,
not that
because
there's
I don't
anything
want to
wrong
sound
with
like
that.
I'm anti-Semitic. And these days, you have to be so careful what you say because the first thing you say, people are going to say, "Oh, you're saying that because you're anti-Semitic," and that's not the case at all. I work with these people, and I think most of them are really good people. I'm just saying that Hollywood is very limited. It's not just that it's limited to progressive liberals. It's also limited in religion and in faith and in a belief system and a lot of other things.
we got to take a quick break. You're listening to The Edge. We'll finish out. We'll talk more about that. It's a good perspective too, Tabitha, because if anybody would know, it would be you because you work in screening these movies.
I do.
All right, we'll come back. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, Big Faust of Fox 2 back right after this.
Show is coming right back.
For 70 years and counting, NHRA Championship Drag Racing is the fastest, most explosive sport on earth. The NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series is headed to St. Louis at full speed. Join us for the NHRA Midwest Nationals, September 24th through 26th at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Feel the power. Get tickets at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Office of Illinois Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
The legend lives on. Now 6 weekends at the St. Louis Renaissance Festival. Explore the village with Robin Hood and his crew. Lock your friends in the pit of misery and see birds of prey. Visit the Throne of Swords. Throw axes, then drink like a pirate at the new whiskey and rum tasting and have a brunch at the Joust with the King. Find unique handcrafted gifts at over 75 shops. There are 12 stages of exciting entertainment, including full contact armored jousting. September 18th through October 24th. Discount tickets at Costco, Menards, and STLRenfest.com.
Are you a business owner looking for funding? Greenbox Capital is here to help by providing easy working capital loans in as little as 24 hours. Visit greenboxcapital.com/apply now to fill out a short form and get started today. With funding from $3,000 to $500,000, Greenbox Capital can help. Visit greenboxcapital.com/apply now to receive a special offer of 10% off cost of working capital. Greenboxcapital.com/apply now and get business funding needed without stress from traditional lenders. Greenboxcapital.com/apply now. Fast funding for small businesses.
Hi, this is Conrad Bellman, Bellman's Carnection in St. Peter's. Back to school time is here, and you can find just the right vehicle for your student at Bellman's Carnection. Right now, we have a huge selection, and all of our vehicles go through a rigid 100-point safety and emissions inspection. Many of them still have remaining factory warranties. Bellman's Carnection in St. Peter's at Highway 70 and 370, where you'll never pay the max. Online at carnection.com.
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank and Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at www.pbtc.net. People's Bank and Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, whew, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys, plus no contract. all on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you can pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Real quick update. Reminder here from the Facebook Live. St. Charles County, 7 p.m. tonight, St. Charles County Council meeting is taking place. The goal, get rid of the quarantines in the schools in St. Charles County because, as we already know, the schools, and I don't mean this negatively, the schools do not think for themselves when it comes to anything COVID. They refuse to think for themselves. They're like, well, we're going to rely on the St. Charles County Health Department or the St. Louis County Health Department. So with that being said, when the county health departments, with no checks and balances, if people agree or disagree with that, say, hey, we're going to put a quarantine in place that if you don't have mask on and you come in contact with somebody with COVID, then you're going to have to quarantine for X amount of days, which could really put a school in a bad situation and have multiple kids out of school, which would really disrupt the learning. That's one of the reasons, and how it was explained why St. Joseph Cottleville and the other private schools in St. Charles County decided to follow what the county health department was doing. So the only way you have any hope at changing things is to show up and try to convince the health department to change their concept on quarantines, but I don't even know if that's going to work.
Where's this at again?
It would be, where would that meeting be tonight? St. Charles County. It would be, I thought it would be downtown St. Charles.
Downtown St.
I thought
Charles.
that would be.
Meet you guys there.
We'll send a crew over.
I'll say it to it.
We've covered so many of those meetings. Oh my gosh, we got to get out of here. We got to take a break. Great show. I told you it's fast as 2 hours. Morning Talk Radio. Dang, it's fast. Going by fast. Okay. We appreciate everybody joining us today. For Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. We do have a guest for tomorrow, but I can't remember who I set up right now. I got to remember. I'll let you know, Chris. We do have one already, though, so we'll let you know who it. Oh, you know what it is?
What?
There's a big event happening this weekend. The fireworks show, the pyrotechnics.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What is that? It's Cedar Lake.
Yeah, the
Winery?
owner, Carl Baum's going to join us tomorrow.
Sweet.
Talk about and we'll have a giveaway as well.
That thing's supposed to be amazing.
Yeah. So that's tomorrow. I think that's around 9 o'clock. So 9 or 9:30. Anyway, we'll let you know about that. We appreciate you joining us today. Thanks for making this show so great. Eric Johnson, Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, and Vic Faust of Fox 2. Have an awesome Monday. See you for Fox 2 News at 5 and 9.
Shanny's up next for some and Dan Bongino for others.